why, to them, you know what I mean? And in that particular moment, I'm so high-headed to the point where I like even though I thought about it, still in that moment, I would not even let myself, let those words like, sink in and then, process it. No, I'll just stay on the surface like, hey man, listen, I was raised in a tough African home. That means that that's a problem, my guy. Deal with it. That means nah. You two deal with your own too. Hey, what's if I dealt with mine, do your own too.
That's not being emotionally.
Hold on.
Let him land. I beg land.
So it's like, for example, like Josh now, Josh will come to me, he will talk about all these different things, and I just sit there listen to him. So I'll go, yo, my guy, do you want me to speak, or was I just listening? So sometimes he'll go, I was just listening. I'll go, all right, cool. I walk away. Then sometimes like, I want to get your opinion to this, and I just don't, just certain things that I just cannot get accustomed to. It's like, oh man, this happened. I'm like, dog, that's what you're really complaining about. But I'm not. To him, it's really coming from his heart. Like he's really feeling this. And to me, I'm just taking it from the surface. Like, bro, that's like a minor problem. I don't really care about that. And I could like see him walk away in frustration. Like, damn, I just wasted 30 minutes of my time. And I wouldn't even follow up on it. You know what I mean? And that's really bad. I wouldn't even follow up on it. But later I'll be like, hey, my guy, that one thing you were, troubled about, how did it go? And then he would talk about what happened?
At that point, the person don't even want to talk about it no more.
Yeah.
It's not you, dog. So anyways.
It's true though. Like, imagine.
No.
And then somebody tells you it ain't shit. Excuse my language. And then they come back to you and ask you about it. It's like they're just gonna make you feel bad even more.
No, but I've always wondered, because I've done it too. The same thing you just said, I've done it too. But do you think, and it's a question maybe to Ken, anyone else who feels guilty of doing the same thing, which is probably all of you guys, but do you think that we tend to do that in terms of saying your problem is not even that big and you're stressed over it because we're trying to suppress our own trauma?
Yeah.
That's another example of trauma.
Yeah, you got problems.
Because there's something that we went through that we don't want to talk about right now, or we don't want to deal with, or that we haven't dealt with. But yet, when someone else brings you this thing, it's like, my guy, if you know the problem I have, you will not tell me this nonsense,
No, I think for me the issue is I've gotten to the point now where I ask myself, what can you do about it? Like as you're speaking about it right now, what can you do about it? Zip, right? I'm my guy. Put that to the side. Focus on what you can deal with right now, and then when that time comes to do that, we go handle that. You know what I mean? Like for me, things like I cannot just wake up and be.
Is that what you're telling yourself with the person that's coming to you for like emotional support?
Person coming to you.
That's a person coming to me. I'm like, guy, what can you do?
So you telling
what
them?
Can you do about it right now?
So you're telling them to put it on the side and
worry about something else, man. Yeah,
basically, he's saying if it's something they cannot control, they shouldn't worry.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much. So you can't control it right now.
No, it's true, but delivery is a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I suck at that, man. I suck at that. I'm terrible.
Yeah, we know.
We can tell.
Shut up.
Just look at you.
I love how we just all agree on the same thing.
Anyways, back to the question about emotional intelligence. What was the question again?
Emotional intelligence.
To define emotional intelligence as the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's own emotions, and to handle interpersonal relations empathetically.
Big words.
Book me top book.
Hey, our linguistic teacher, please break that down, Mr. Bell.
Everybody agrees that AK sucks at delivery, so
I cannot.
That's something he got to work on.
Anyways, when it comes to that emotional intelligence thing, so as a few of you guys know, most of you guys know, I referee soccer, and so I like to soccer, pa.
Idiots.
And I like to relay everything to sports. And when it comes to sports is something that carries a lot of emotions. And then for soccer or football, as most of us know it, we have people who come from different cultures and they have so many reasons why they play it. So, being on the field with somebody, when somebody reacts a certain way, instead of punishing that person for what they did, it's like try to understand, try to understand why they did it, and like try to see their point of view, basically. I mean, but if somebody punches somebody, obviously there's a certain punishment they receive for that. But when it comes to like emotional intelligence, it's like just try to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and see why they do what and because people do things depending on where they come from and how they like we've been talking all day, how they were brought up and what's around them, the surroundings, environments and whatnot. So
I have one question for you. Why do you referees cheat so much?
Why do referees cheat so much?
Yeah.
Thank God we have VAR now, eh?
Referees
You guys cheat so much, man.
Referees don't cheat. The thing is, as a referee, when you make a call, one person's going to be happy, one person's not going to be happy. So everybody can never be on the same page. So that's why people think that way.
Like your eyebrows, but you cheat.
Let's just
No, but Reflex, just to ask you a question, you said something about what was the question about emotional intelligence? Is it that men lack emotional intelligence?
So that's
I think it was how men handle it or something like that.
Yeah.
She said she said our generation needs to learn how to be more nurturing, and we lack emotional intelligence.
That's tough, man.
I don't know what she's talking about though. I know what she's talking about.
It's something I learned, like Sasha said, it's an ongoing thing. I don't think I'm like emotionally intelligent. That is no. I don't think so. But I'm trying. And the only way to try is to actually, at least the little thing you can do is know yourself.
Wait, you were laughing at my delivery guy. Yours. Oh God. Anyways, continue. No, wait, continue. No, wait, continue. No, continue.
I already said I'm not emotionally intelligent, right?
Okay, thank you.
I've got to understand that people actually, they care about the things they're talking about. And with that, what I've learned is this. Before I talk, I first ask myself, is this going to help? Is this going to destroy? Or is this just a waste of time? And then if like, cause I know myself, I know if I say something, I will hurt somebody.
We know.
I'm not.
Let me be taking notes. Can you repeat those three things again? Please repeat. If it's going to help, hurt, or what?
Hurt?
Hold on. Let me find pen.
Guy.
Help or waste time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
This person, I might as well say, "Hey, I'm sorry. I don't relate. I can't understand what you're saying. I can't relate to it. Maybe if you give me a little background story, like I don't know what's going on right now." Instead of me saying, "Bro, you're just wasting my time right now," because that's what I usually say. I look at you and say, "Man." Like I could be doing other things right now. Like honestly, like right now, like what are you saying? I don't know what you're saying.
You just nullified my point. I really had a good point, but after you've talked, my point will be useless. But from my perspective, I've been taught I'm not being emotionally intelligent. I'm not being sensitive enough. I believe in life there's things where you can involve emotions, and there's things where logic is the only thing that's gonna apply. There's things where you have to try and balance the two things. At any point for me, I will entertain your emotion. That's nice. It's cute sometimes too. But there has to be a point where we apply logic so we're not blinded by emotions. Because a lot of times if you try to do things based off your emotions, it's not gonna be right. And some people hate to hear it. Now, unlike some other people, they want to involve zero emotion in the whole process and whatever. I feel like it's over time. I would vouch for that. That's progress. The fact that he thinks about 3 things before he says that. Kudos to you, bro. Very proud of you. But in the past, it's been.
Wait on Sam. Wait on Sam.
Yeah, but in the past, it's been you literally. I'm never forgetting this stuff. I opened up to this nigga about some shit. He looked at me
To
like,
who?
to Dan. It is what it is. And that was majority of that.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. That you look at it like, fam, this is since like 20, for as long as I can remember. I mean, when we started speaking English, I was 2010, 2011. And you legit look at this guy like, my guy, I just opened up to you for you to tell me it is what it is.
You shall be well, oh, shall be well.
But over time, you know, that has changed, obviously. And I feel like that emotional intelligence also comes from experience and growth, you know? Because if you haven't had to be in a situation where you're the one opening up as well, excuse me, where you're the one also who's opening up and you're the one who's hoping, I'm not gonna say expect because expect is nonsense. When you're hoping that somebody can listen to what you're saying and understand in a certain sense, you can't really relate to that feeling. Otherwise, to you, it's just my guy. So, can you do anything about it? Okay, it is what it is then, you know?
People say,
It is what it is.
people say men argue with facts, women argue emotions. How do we feel about that?
I don't agree. Carry on.
I don't know.
I don't want to do the men versus women thing.
They're not ready for this conversation.
Listen, let's stick to what we're talking about.
Not today, Satan.
Back on emotional intelligence. I think to me, the way it started was I realized that I have both parents. They're living, right? I have zero relationship with them. And it's not because I was like adopted in another family. No, they were here. They were financially there. But it's just I had a relationship. My mom was in church and work. Like I said, we had everything they felt like they were giving us. My dad was either, you know, you see him, you gotta ask. Like, when is dad gonna be available? What do you need? Okay. He will give you a call or like just shows up out of nowhere. What's up, son? How can I help you?
Interview request.
Yeah, it's like literally, you gotta ask somebody to go see your parents, like your parents, you know what I mean? Your mom she in and out. Your dad is in and out. You got mates, school, you come back, and then you go to boarding school. And then you graduate. And then you go to college. And then like, when it gets to a relationship, to me, I realized that I had 2 problems. I didn't understand what a relationship was in the standpoint of everything. Like friends, they're my peoples. Like it's simple stuff. Like, but like if you're talking about like a girlfriend, like what is the requirements for you to be committed? Actually, let's just stick to commitment. I was not committed to anything or anyone because I've never actually seen what commitment means or what it does. Like what's the fruit of commitment? I've never had to experience that. So it's like, listen, you just do what you got to do, like, you know, and then if it don't work, it is what it is. You know, you go to the next one. You don't really sit down and actually assess why things did not work. You know what I mean? Why did it not work? What can I do better? How do I, you know, it's just bless.
You gotta. I don't know if we
you know what I mean? And then like in my adult life, when I mean like dude, like first of all, and I apologize to my exes, but like we're in a relationship, we've already talked today. You're telling me you miss me how? Like I've already had a conversation with
you. Yeah, Polo what?
You know what I mean? Like, listen, man, I've seen you, I've talked to you. Like, I'm doing my stuff. Like, I've already done my thing. Like, because I'm working. I'm doing what I got to do. I'm making money. I'm buying me. Like, what is it you're complaining about?
Wait, no. Dan, how many exes are we apologizing to?
I didn't have that many exes, so it's good.
Do they all live in Texas?
It's good.
Just to
He said
clarify,
it's
those
good.
are exes that he acknowledges.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
difference.
All right.
Those that
Listen, it's for the ones that he know and the one he doesn't know. You know, because it's like all the extra attachments, you know what I mean, included.
Particulars. Yes.
But yeah.
But I have to disagree with you though.
Let me.
It was, and then when you get to a point where you realize, okay, like what's the real problem? And then like honestly, like me and my dad, we only talked when I came to the U.S. We only talked when I needed money, and when I started making money, we had nothing to talk about.
So you didn't want the extra money.
Bro, to me, it was a
I'm telling you.
it's like,
Oh my God. This guy.
and then you're like, what's the problem?
You need a accountant in your life.
You know? But like overall, like I realized that it was a problem, and I decided to like move back home to like live with my mom a little bit. Because my sister is here, my brother is here. And I also realized that I didn't have a relationship with my siblings either, because it's a piggyback. It's a domino effect. If you don't have a relationship with anybody, it starts with your parents, you know what I mean? Because those are the first humans that you meet. So like, and it goes with you everywhere. Every single relationship you do is just platonic. It's never really like deep or like, because there's...
Now I'm getting deeper now.
Yeah, you don't see the point in it. And then, so I moved back home, started living with my moms, and then I made it my goal to actually get to know each and every single person, like from my siblings, to my mother, to my dad. Like we had, you know, when you call your African father, you're like, yo, we need to start talking. What did I do?
Man, kudos to you for that, bro.
You know what I mean?
Clap for that.
It's like, no. You know, what's funny is he actually ended up I started calling him once a week. If I don't call, he calls. We talk about everything. It doesn't really have to be. At first, I realized that I thought that we could just like a pill situation where like now that we talk, we have a relationship. But I realized that no, we do not. Like I don't know who's this person.
Yep. Reflex is ready to counter that. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Calls and stuff like that, where like we talk about everything and anything, and then that's where you start realizing, oh, this person likes this person likes that, and then you start getting into it, and then once you create that, it facilitates your other relationships.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. When you say that, we understand. But once you start talking about those exes, it's when
I was
questioning what you are trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, Flex was going to ask.
But what the kid said real quick, I don't agree with what you said. What is it again? Men think what again, and women what?
It was not a fact, though. It was a question.
Oh, no.
You see what you're trying to do? You're trying to, you know what? We'll give all the love to you. It's okay.
I think we'll skip that one. No, we skip that part, please.
Yeah, we're not.
We skip that.
We're not dabbling with that.
Joshua, please relax. Calm down.
About the logic and emotion.
No. Let you go, please.
Did Lala hire? You're making like Lala hired you over there, please.
Then bribe
Stay over there.
Does Lala have another question for us?
Reflex, please go ahead.
Let's address. I don't know how much time we got. Let's address one thing that shout out to Sandra. She said, I think patriarchy has made it that women are raised/conditioned to be more emotionally intelligent than men. And that goes back to the whole emotionally intelligent thing. And then, you know, all the women in the joint agree.
Facts.
It's true though.
I agree.
Facts.
Straight
facts. Let me tell you, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because that brings back to the same thing I was going to say. Men are more emotional than we want to admit. That's a straight fact. Most of the decisions we make are actually more emotional than logical, whether we want to believe it or not.
No, that's right.
And that's a fact.
But
a lot of us think that most of the stuff we do is all super logical, whatever. We're not.
Joshua, who vexed you today? Because it wasn't us.
I'm just saying.
Joshua, the Rwanda Thanos.
if we're being honest, men are more, because when a woman gets to the point of like decision, it's like you might have sometimes like but this, but that, but when it comes to shit needs to get done, fam. Emotions almost disappear in a way, and it's more like we need to make something that's both emotionally balanced, you know? And I've seen this when it comes to, and I hope they never watch this, my mom and my dad. You know, my dad really believes this, man, you know? Until my mom comes up with a solution that, like, helps everybody. But I truly believe, like, man, we've always, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that patriarchy thing she was talking about. But men have just, we've always thought that women are super emotional and all this, but we're the ones that are more emotional than anything. And the sooner we acknowledge that, the better it is for us. Just saying.
Joshua, I don't know which gear you're trying to woo here.
No, I was just going to ask him that. Okay, being that you're so emotional, being that you say all that, right? How has your emotions, propel you from where you were, Joshua, in 2015 to Joshua in 2020?
My emotions, they've propelled me.
In terms of how you think and everything, my guy.
Man, there's been the reason why I said it. I'm going to speak from my personal experiences.
Speak from Jesus' experience.
I'm telling you. Can you imagine?
But there's been several times in my life where, let's say in terms of business, right? You try to start something. For me, if I believe in starting something, I believe in it, and we're just gonna keep fighting until all the wheels fall off, and I still think we can push it, But the part where, at that point, to me, the emotions get involved because you've put in so much work into the whole thing and all this stuff. The people that have always brought me back to remind me, hey, look, let's think realistically in this whole thing. How is this gonna work? Is been women. They're the ones that, even though throughout the whole process, it's been me, Reflex. I see you smiling and hiding. Chill out. But even though in the beginning I was the one that felt like, I'm the leading force and all that, they've been the one that actually have this. So my emotions have taken over several times. And I've not been brought back, no offense here, by my boys, but specific women that have been in my life that I've decided to, like, okay, let's think logically, and I don't know, make I'm just going to leave it there.
Do you think that's because you can relate more to women than men, or do you think it's just because women are able to do it, to do it, and men are not able to do it?
It's not because I can relate more to women than men. What?
It might be.
No, because the guys come up with that. If the guys do not help you get into that direction, and I'm not trying to bash my guys, by the way, just so we're clear, okay? But it's just certain people.
Hey, please do, because you will not win. Please do, because you will not win. But anyway,
I have a simple question. Like, can people be different? Like, in a sense, some people,
of course,
do it with like men and women. I'm just saying, some people might be more logical than emotional. Others might be emotional more than logical, and it might not really be a sex situation. Like,
do you think it's based on the scenario though? Because some scenarios definitely need emotional input.
That's what Joshua said.
Some scenarios definitely will require a lot of emotional input. Some of them are just trigger. Just do it.
I'm logical, period.
Listen, going back to Joshua's point, right? Hold up. Going back to Joshua's point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll pick on you, Josh, particularly, because it's like, once there's this thing in your head, for example, it's just there, bro. Like, it's just spinning in there.
Mm,
logical, emotional,
mm.
interlogic, emotional, with the hyphen in the middle, bro, it's like you just stuck right there, man. Like you just stuck.
Mm.
I don't know if I should be like, my African friends and just smack the living hell out of you so you could like snap out of it or what, but I don't get it. Explain to us, I guess, since we're on it. Like, how do you just get stuck in like one particular frame and you can't like shake, like nobody can shake you?
That's the thing is what, okay, for me, for example, is if I believe in something, fam, I don't care if I tell you I'm going to turn this into sugar. If I believe I'm going to turn it into sugar and I have a plan how I'm about to turn it into sugar, if that plan falls apart, I still believe I can do it. Okay? I need someone to come and show me how that's not possible. Okay? And truly explain that. If you just come to me and you just tell me, Josh, you just can't turn it into sugar. Okay, everyone has said can't. Many people have been told they can't do things. What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. But you have to show. Now that's the part where I go from. It might have been a logical thing, to be honest, that this can turn into sugar for the sake of the argument. But when it gets to a point where you're stuck and you can't go anymore, I get so carried away with my emotions because I'm so emotionally involved in this thing. I get so carried away. What is Reflex doing?
Or
I
you
guess
just,
so.
or you just have to be realistic and realize that you cannot change that into sugar.
No, that's
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what I've been trying to tell this guy sometimes.
Example. This is why you want to use. That's why I said for the sake of the argument. Okay.
Also now you know how I felt when I used the other one, right? You know how
So
I
is
felt when I
this,
used the other one, right?
is this scenario based?
Okay. You know what? Better yet. If I believe that I can turn this into a glass vase, okay,
Don't start.
but it's not possible anymore, okay. So it gets to a point where you have to acknowledge that, hey, look, this is no longer possible. No matter how. Now, for me, my problem becomes I become so invested in it that it becomes an emotional issue for me. And this is, remember, I'm just speaking in my terms, man. So I can't detach that. And you're gonna have to do more than just tell me it's not possible to convince me that it's not gonna work, right? And this is where your boys are just coming in and all they're telling is that I don't see why you don't get it. This will not work. And they repeat the same thing 500 times and expect you to understand it differently. You see? Whereas someone else comes over and they tell you, no, look, it's broken already. Super glue won't even work. Okay? So at this point, you need to scratch this out and start over again. Your boys can have talked because at least somebody understands how invested you've been in the whole thing. And at this point, you're emotionally attached to whatever project it is that you're doing, that they're just trying to bring you back. But if they're not willing to understand that and someone is just stuck in it, like, it's kind of the same thing he was talking about. Okay, where it's like, you come and tell me this. I'm like, you're complaining because what? Do you know what I've been through? You're not willing to go to the side and understand where the person is coming from and try to address it from that perspective. Because if you try to address it from a perspective over and over, it's not gonna work.
Say your knees ashy, bro. Say your knees ashy.
So
my
we
knees are moisturized, bro.
African men, black African men. Let's circle it back, and you know what I'm saying. I think it'll be wise if we circle it back and talk about, like moving forward, steps moving forward, you know what I'm saying? Like not just for us, but for every African man who can identify their traumas. We talk about, relationships and patriarchy and emotional intelligence, all that good stuff. How can we move forward and be better people for our mothers and sisters and children and generations to come?
Be open
Young
for the
man, be very
conversation.
quiet.
Joshua, you have all the keys.
Quiet.
Go ahead first.
I said
As
for,
the tools.
for this to change, for this to be better, we have to first of all be open to conversations, not just open to hear, but open to listen and do something about it. Because we can sit here and we can talk all this talk and whatnot, and I could be the guy that is in need of help or whatever, and I refuse to do so. Understanding that you acknowledging that you need help does not mean you're weak. Acknowledging that something that you seeking help does not mean you're weak. you know, and that you could take that step and not be judged. But also being there for our fellow brothers when they do say that, and when they do that, I say do, but when they do that, so that we can be there for them. Otherwise, we're doing the same cycle our parents taught us, where instead of telling them, that's a white person disease, now you're telling your boy you're being a bitch. You know, it's the same thing, just a different way of saying it. I'm sorry, I just sometimes can relate. So you have to be willing. It's community. It's community work. You know, for them, it was for white people. For us, it's being a bitch. So if you are willing to, it's not just the guys that are dealing with it, but it's also the rest of us as a community saying, you know what? If my boy, I need to create an environment where my boy feels comfortable enough to come and tell me, hey, you know what, Josh, I'm going to X, Y, Z, and all that. I mean, you know, figure it out. You know, all they really need sometimes is someone to listen. You know, and, that's
outside of smoking hookah and taking shots.
I have a question.
Exactly. Yeah. Other than drinking down a bottle and smoking.
I feel like the best way for especially like us African kids, because of like the pride and the background, you know, I encourage every single person to anonymously go to therapy for X amount of time. Just by you. Don't tell your boys. Don't try to like, you know, make it a thing. Just go you by yourself and go to somebody that you don't know, that you've never met.
Is it free?
Yeah, I've healthcare freedom.
Like, listen,
You got to do it.
you got
Do Uber.
someone talk about your life. Talk about your childhood just as a story. And if you do, and somebody looks at you and tells you that don't know you, tells you there's a problem here and here and here and there, at least you have something to start with, because some people don't even know where to start.
Bro, listen, there's that thing where, you know what I mean, you just look at your boy, or your boy looks at you and he goes, yep, I know what he's dealing with. We're not going to talk about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't start there. We're not, let's talk about this. You feel me? Let's talk about this, because you really don't know what it is. You feel me? You really don't know. But anyways, before we continue, Dan, there's a particular question I got.
I have to ask the question first.
Bill had the question.
Oh, sorry, sir. Go ahead. I thought it went ladies before gentlemen, but you wanted to reverse it. Okay, gentlemen for ladies. Go ahead.
Equality.
P-man.
Go ahead now.
So we're talking about young men dealing with their emotional intelligence and how they can be better, right? But I think we're skipping our entire generation above us, because I think it has to start from the top and walk its way down. Because if we're fixing ourselves, right, what happens at the top? We're still getting that negativity coming down, right? So I think it has to start from the top and work its way down.
At some point, we get to the top.
Correct, but they're still there. They're still there.
But yeah.
You can fix somebody. You can't.
Right. I mean, yeah, we're doing it, right? We're doing it, but it's like positive here, negative here.
Yeah.
And eventually the positive kicks the negative out.
Until then.
This one.
No. Okay, I think I understand what you're saying, but the thing is, we cannot say it has to start from the top. We cannot always keep saying it has to start from the top, because if we keep saying, that's almost like saying, well, before I got here, it was like that. Why is there a need for me to change it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe I put the question in my statement in the wrong way, but I think everybody.
Maybe you have 10 before. Maybe you have 10 before 7 behind you.
No, Bell, I understand what you're saying. Though. I think I kind of understand what you're saying, but I feel like at the same time, we are the ones that are going to influence that change to happen on the top. You know,
right,
based on the conversations we have with them, based on whatever. So I mean, it will trickle down, and it will make it easier for us to pass it on. Because it's very hard to just take in a lot of shit and then just let rainbows come out. It's very hard.
How about this?
So,
How about this?
Try convincing elder person that his culture doesn't make sense.
Uh,
Yeah, but that's it. I understand what you mean, bro. But at the same time, I feel like we are the ones that the ones that are willing to talk about it, the ones that are willing to have this conversation. We are the ones that are gonna have to have these conversations with the people above, our elders or whatnot, so that they're more open to these to understanding or to being able to communicate on that level. You know, which I mean, it's gonna be a tough road. It's gonna be a tough road trying to convince a 60-year-old man to start thinking a different way. You know, or even a 50, even 40 for some cases, even 35.
It's the next generation that we need to worry about.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
was just about to say that, dog.
Yeah.
Like, why would
George,
people
I'm about to,
like
say,
let's
I'm about to
look
call
forward.
Mr. Kagame right now. Get your job. To call your president.
Yeah.
But nah, Dan. Hey, Dan.
I think the energy, and focus needs to be on us making, what I'm saying, like, I don't want to say reparations because Lala might, crucify. We need to change ourselves so we can, better educate our the next generation.
Who's that coughing?
No one.
You gotta stop, man.
Quarantine yourself, please.
Okay.
yeah.
But Flex, I agree with you. Dan, listen.
No, reflex. Yes.
Aristide has been quiet though, and I think he's trying to say something.
Let me drive heat real quick. It's like nah.
Yeah, drive it.
Nah, but I'm just gonna go back to what Banner was saying about starting from the top. I think it also, like, for example, what Dan was saying earlier when he said, he realized at a certain point that I don't have a relationship with my dad, and he went ahead and took that step to, I'm gonna move back home with my parents. I'm gonna start calling my dad. And then that's where it started. So I feel like the process starts with you, and then ultimately he was able to, hit up his dad, and then they had that routine of calling each other every week or every couple of days and talking and establishing that relationship. So definitely, hopefully, when you start, looking for help to, deal with your trauma or something like that, hopefully, like during that help, one of the things that you're gonna learn is that, okay, I need to, even though I'm helping myself, but I'm in this position because of the people on top of me. So you have to mend that relationship. And I also agree with what Reflex said about we have to worry about ourselves, because we have to in turn stop that cycle. So we have to worry about ourselves, and it's honestly it's all connected together. You got to go to therapy. And when you go to therapy, they'll say, okay, you got to mend your relationship with your dad. When you mend the relationship with your dad, then now you know how to handle certain things that is going to help you or benefit you being a father to your son in the next couple of years. So it's all, it all ties up together. So definitely, yeah.
By show of hand, is therapy for everybody?
What?
Of course, yeah.
Is therapy for everybody?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nigga, show.
Does it work for everybody?
This how you guys fail exams.
There are
and you
different
wonder
types
why.
of therapy.
Different types of therapy, though. Different ways.
There are different types of therapy. So.
Hey, my hand is up now. Put my hand
Okay,
up.
hold on. Next question. Wait. Let's get away from that question real quick. I want to bring this last topic. I want to bring this up. Let's touch on this real quick. And Dan, you're going to start. How do you feel about intimacy and vulnerability?
What?
How do you feel about intimacy?
How do you feel
and
about going to the
vulnerability?
back on a young man? That's what he's asking.
Well,
God.
what do you mean by that?
Oh, like being vulnerable to somebody and getting intimate or something like that?
Guy, you were talking.
Okay, let me. From what I understand, being intimate, like he said, it's being vulnerable. To a certain extent, yes, but also you can't just come from by myself doing everything by myself. I got me to letting people in, and you gotta understand it's a two-way street. Once you let somebody in, you also allow them to hurt you. So you gotta be ready for that too. It's not something that you just anybody that would tell you, oh nah, for the day I found that was cool. You know what I mean? Nah, there's levels to this.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting there. You know what I mean? It's moving, but it's not where I wanted to be. That's why I'm still working on it. But for example, me, I'm in a relationship right now, right? With my girl, at the beginning of our relationship, I express my situation in order for her to understand where I come from when I say things. And because she knows, she can check me on things. And when she does, I take that in consideration. I actually accept it. I'm like, all right, cool. Because I allowed you to, like, I give you my side, I should take your side too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that simple. It's not complicated. Once you start doing that, because I'm not saying every single feedback you get is for you to grow, but dismissing it, you might dismiss something that you needed to become a better person. So you just got to take everything and measure it out, and then you move forward. Like, things will come in, there'll be a waste of your time, but time is not yours to begin with. Like, if you cannot control it, stop it and change it, it's not yours. Just keep it moving.
One second, my guy. You started off the talk by saying intimacy and vulnerability did what?
It's levels.
Explain these levels.
Okay, let me tell you this.
And you started from the bottom and you are now at the top.
For the person, to me, I need to know you better for me to tell you certain things.
Facts.
Now, okay, for me, the way it works, and I'm speaking in my personal opinion, I have to have a relationship with you that allows me to say certain things. I have to know certain things about you that makes me feel comfortable that I can bring this kind of things to you. And usually it's my boys, you know? But it works for my boys because I just say stuff, we cool. I go back and deal with it. You know, I go do my thing. Now that, you know, there's other people, and also there's, you know, a little bit of emotional involved, so we kind of just have a background to it and talk about it. There's more stuff to it. Now, for me to say everything, it takes a little bit, but I do say it. It takes me time to actually process things emotionally, because I never really process emotion. It's pretty much what doesn't make sense don't matter. It's boom, you move on, you run. I'm slowing down my whole life first and foremost. So it takes me time to process things. And then I go by, you know, share it with others in order to see if what I got, what I'm doing is actually positive, or am I helping myself? Am I wasting my time? Or am I going backwards? You know what I mean? Like, that's how I deal with things. That's my intimacy and all the other things, whatever that is.
I feel like I feel like intimacy means like different things to different people. So there's no, you know, one definition of intimacy. For each person it could be something else, for each person it's something else. But then vulnerability, being vulnerable is like, to me, it feels like deeper than, you know, being intimate, if that makes sense. You know, or you opening yourself up to like different things. Yeah.
Hey man, I love y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna catch up, you know what I'm saying, another time, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all take it easy, bro. I learned a lot. So let me stop goofing around. I learned a lot, and I'm gonna watch this on replay. And shout out
Did
to
you just go to your room?
Huh?
Did you just go to your room?
No, he went to space.
Yeah, man.
You want to go and get intimate.
I'm done.
Yeah, man. I just went in the room, but no, y'all some dope brothers, man. Yeah, we you know we need to do stuff like this more, and and not just make it talk, but actually, you know what I'm saying, like walk it out and be better men for our sisters and our children, you know. So yeah.
Just ending the intimacy and vulnerability, that shit sucks. But let's
No. Reflex is hanging out. He's leaving. Reflex is leaving. Keep going.
Oh, he's leaving.
He's leaving. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you could leave too if you need to.
I know I'm not leaving it. I'm fine. There's no
Okay.
problem.
We're gonna be here all night talking about intimacy, boys.
So no, because that's tough, fam. Because if anything else, dancing and that. Anyways, yeah, I'll be quiet. Yeah, it's tough.
I don't think you can fully be vulnerable unless you are fully aware of your emotions. Like,
That's a fact.
you can't be intimate and like let somebody, because I feel like that's like you gotta first know what it is that you feel a certain way about and why you feel that way, how you feel about it before you can share it. And if you're not aware of either or, it's tough for you to let somebody in. It's not like I don't want you in. It's just like, where you going?
So somebody said, in order to be in order to have intimacy, you need to be vulnerable.
Well, it depends. Are we talking about sex?
That's what I said. That's what I said. That's what I meant by
Relationship.
intimate thing is different things to different people.
I don't know.
We're talking about relationships. We're talking about relationships.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I'm not an expert. That's why I can only speak.
Ah,
Like, you don't need, to be anything to have anything with anybody.
So wait,
Dan,
let me ask you this then. How do you connect? How do you connect with your girlfriend?
Being vulnerable and intimate.
So that you can do what?
No, like I said,
No, seriously, how do you connect with your girl? Seriously.
no, like simple conversations, like
Yeah. Listening.
talking to her. There's listening and also there's talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's conversation. And also there is the fact that, to me, I had said this before I got into a relationship. I'm like, yo, my next girl is a person that I want to see that can turn into my wife.
mhm.
So
Like Belle.
I have a question for you when he finishes.
it didn't take me a lot because it kind of made it felt right. But like overall, it was just one of those things that before we started, I said, hey man, like this is what I'm coming with. This is my bag.
These are my baggages.
Hey, yeah, I just laid out
That's important too.
Very important. man.
baggage. This is who I am. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm trying to get to. And they present their baggage too. And then
Very
you
important.
break it down and you talk about it. So to me, I'm a very logical person.
You can see it from your forehead.
It didn't come for nothing. I'm just saying. When it comes to logic, I'm quick. When it comes to emotion,
Very slow. Very slow.
very, very slow. So I give myself time that I need to process something. I force myself to process it. If, let's say, something traumatic happens to me, I take a day. I take a day off, I sit down, and I try to just like unwind and then think about it as much as I can. Not like forcing myself to think about it, just saying, what did it mean to me? Do I like this? Do I not like it? Why not? Like, I literally, you start treating yourself like a child. Talk to yourself like a kid. Is it nice? Is it not nice? Where is it not nice? Is it yellow?
My God. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me ask you this.
That's facts, though. That's facts.
Dan. Let's go all the way back again to being vulnerable. You said communication, understanding, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you understand that there's dry communication and there is. Anyways.
Say it.
No, I'm not saying it. Look at that guy over there. Nah, so do you understand that? Like, no, I'm landing that. Calm down. Listen, Dan, do you understand that? Like, hey, yo, Dan,
Yes, child.
you can be rapping with your girl, right?
Uh-huh.
And you actually think that you guys are like, are you being vulnerable with your girl, but you really not, because you're really not tapping, you're really not talking to her from within. You're just being shallow with how you communicate.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because of what I presented as a person when we're talking, she sometimes has to say, "Hey, are you really you need? Do you want this? Like, is this how you really feel?" Those little things to me, it's like it reminds me to like, okay, I just gave, it is what it is. Answer, like, what do I really feel about this? And then I'll say, hey, I really don't know.
I'm sorry, I have to say something. For me, you cannot, and if you go in a relationship thinking this way, I pity you, but you cannot, you cannot go in a relationship expecting to be vulnerable from jump. Like, we will talk about little things, I'll tell you about how I don't like, I don't know, shit.
Chocolate.
Butter pecan ice cream.
Yeah.
That's an example. That's my first level of vulnerability. You know what I like and what I don't like. I don't like Dr. Pepper. It tastes nasty. Like, it's little things. Over time, I feel like that's how you guys get closer. It's because you're getting to know. I'm starting to trust you to the level where I feel like you can be trusted. I can be vulnerable. Yeah, I started to trust you to the level where I feel like I can be open with you a lot more. Now if we get to me telling you, you know what, I like ashy knees, and you want to roast me over that, that's me being blessed. Chill out. If I get to the point of telling you something like that, that's me being vulnerable, and you decide to roast me on that, that's gonna create a barrier. That's gonna create a barrier where it's gonna take a lot for me to open up some more. So the reason why I say intimacy and vulnerability sucks is because it's a try and error thing, bro. You're gonna open up to a person, you're gonna tell them some shit, and I guarantee you, if it hasn't happened yet, it will happen at one point, and they're gonna hurt you, and you're gonna feel exposed. No, you're gonna feel no, you're gonna feel exposed. You're gonna feel exposed, and the moment you feel exposed, there's a level of you that's gonna shut down. So open to it, yes. To what level? It's as time goes. You can't just. That's like the people that. Same thing as Dan was saying earlier. Actually, something Dan said. He said, you present your baggages, and then they present their baggage. You first have to be aware of what baggages you have. Some of us have been carrying luggage we don't know. We just think our head is heavy. We didn't even know why. Yeah, we've been carrying our luggage. Africa, we're all the way here. We have no clue.
Ghana was good.
And when this stuff starts unpacking, and they're like, "Wait, you didn't tell me about this." I'm like, "I didn't even know about this." And now you look like a liar. How did you not know about something that you have?
I think you're saying that it sucks. It kind of baffles me because, guy, you already know that at some point, if you don't work towards that being, that one relationship that would last you the rest of your life, right? You already know that at some point it's gonna end, and that's just life.
No. I'm not planning on the ending at all. Matter of fact, it's you're more cautious about who you interact with. Kind of like the same thing Dan was saying. Wait. Same what Dan was saying about how when he got in this relationship, he got in it hoping that this is gonna be somebody that he marries or somebody that's gonna be the goal at the end of the day. You're gonna vet these people a lot more instead of just saying she's cute, big butt, all this stuff. No, you're gonna vet a lot more. It's gonna be a big vetting process before you can even entertain
that. At some point, you just gotta realize that that's life. That person, like, it was not written on the forehead that, oh, this is gonna be Josh's wife.
But there's gonna be it's not real on the forehead.
No, I'm saying that you saying that it sucks. You saying that it sucks, like the way you put it, my guy, is like you're not thinking that it can happen.
No, I'm saying it sucks because of how it exposes you. At the end of the day, there's gonna be that one person that you're vulnerable with, and they're actually gonna care about what you say, and it's gonna be worth it. Okay. But at the end of the day, and maybe it hasn't happened to anyone, maybe it won't happen to anyone, but there's those instances, since we're going to go over with every word, there's those specific instances where you will open up to somebody, you will be vulnerable, and that's just gonna come back to bite you in the ass. You're
But
gonna
what
be
I'm saying is,
boom,
that
and
is the
Yes.
natural order of life, my guy. It's gonna happen.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it sucks. That's like saying Josh is dark. It's not an offensive thing. It's not a bad thing. I'm dark. Everyone knows
You are
this.
black.
Yeah.
JK. But now, I have a question for guy. Where you going? Come back.
Young go peace. This time you should shake. This time you guys should take your food.
Nah, yo, the way blessing was eating that bread, man.
My guy, hungry, man.
And chips.
But now, Ari, listen, my last question to you is, being that, you know, you were raised by, you know, a single mom, you know what I mean? How do you take what you've learned, you know, and in treating your significant other right now? Please.
All your children.
I learned how to cook.
Very important.
I'm talking about your significant other. How do you, like, interact with your significant other?
He cooks for her.
Shut up. Am I talking to you?
I would just say for me, like, I feel like I have a bigger respect for women, me personally, knowing that I grew up with just, you know, my mom, my aunts. So I think I try to reflect that respect in every other woman that I come across. So that's pretty much, yeah. So respect, yeah.
Respect.
Very important, young man. Very important.
Bell, since you like to talk so much, are you dating? Oh yeah. He said with the relationship, man. I heard you were close to getting married, my guy. So
you know now.
Love our boy, Mr. Mod. Please tell us how.
This is ultimate level of intimacy.
For you, speak on intimacy and vulnerability. Oh, you don't.
We don't really pass that one now.
No, hold on. No, tell the people about your blog first, where they can find it, and then I beg answer that intimacy and vulnerability question. I beg.
What's that blog again? I haven't seen the blog in so long. I've been very busy. But I think it's AK. You provide the blog name. I've forgotten it.
Yeah, confirm. Intimacy and vulnerability. Touch on that.
I mean, I think it's kind of a mixture of what Josh and Dan are saying, because from Josh's point of view,
go ahead.
From Josh's point of view, you know, some things are bound to hurt, but once you see that this person, you're really open up enough to let them in, it gets to a point where, you know, you're bound to expect it. You know, even if someone's roasting you about thing A, thing B, or thing C, you know, at the same time, you're also roasting them on thing A, thing B, thing C. So it kind of goes both ways, you know, just like everything in life. If I'm giving something to you, I'm expecting the same thing in return. So once you are aware of your vulnerabilities, as far as your partner's vulnerabilities, the intimacy is just a bonus at the end of the day.
My God. I like that. Blessing.
I cannot go after him.
Just say I agree.
I agree.
Oh man.
What Bell said.
All right, listen. I got a couple questions. You know, some fun questions.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do this. So I was gonna say, everybody, what is a skill? Oh, by the way, man, how are you guys living in this coronavirus times, man? How you guys coping?
Let me show you my mask. I have a very nice mask. Very, very good mask. Afro print mask. Very, very good.
How are we living? We are breathing in and out.
what's the short
which
version?
N95, that thing, what's it called?
N95.
Yeah, that one.
What are we waiting on? Bell, what are you showing
Yeah,
us?
what's up? But that's
No,
it. Oh, it's this iPad. We know you have an iPad.
Bell's iPad. Is that what it says?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We know you have
That's
an
what
iPad.
that's
I
what
beg.
it is.
Man, why we
See
waiting
this?
on Bell?
This. See this right here?
Uh-huh.
Cheapest brand. You know, if you want one, I can hook you guys up.
You go call Yaremi rapper.
Where is Toyo Kai look?
Can't want Salah to win.
That is.
You went and called your mother's dress. I want to come and sell it to us. Cheapest brand. How is not cheap? How is not cheap? You just did schwa.
No.
Hey, boy. It don't take elastic. Wait the whole thing waist.
I'm telling you. You took your mom's dress and you cut it and you took elastic from your underwear and you put it there. You want to sell it to us.
No, it's a last trouser. I put it in around. Moving on.
Hold on,
Yeah,
first
but
question.
how are we dealing with coronavirus? Yeah, we working from home. You know.
They say how you living. They didn't say how you walking. How you living? You are breathing in and you are breathing out.
Next question, please.
Okay. I don't know. The joke
You know what?
Continue.
You have killed that one totally. The next question is,
That's I'm moving on.
what is a skill you've recently taught yourself within this coronavirus period?
Wait, what was the question?
What is a skill you've recently taught yourself?
I don't understand.
Eating.
I don't,
The way I've been eating this period, because
Wait.
being at home.
Okay, what was the question again?
The question is, what is a skill you've recently learned for yourself? You really taught yourself.
Referee
heard
say
something
VAR.
else.
Learn VAR.
Oh, a skill you have recently taught yourself. I heard
Yeah.
something completely different.
You have problem.
I really have a problem.
I heard touch yourself initially.
Me too.
Thank you. All I heard was recently touch yourself.
No, that's why I was like.
Next question. Let's move
You
on.
see,
Even though you
Please,
keep
I bet answer the question. What's the skill you've recently taught yourself?
A skill I've recently. Well, for me, really, my everyday life has not changed. I mean, the only thing has changed is classes are now online because I go to school, but I still go to work because I'm in healthcare, as I told you guys earlier. So nothing has really changed for me. So it's the same day-to-day thing. I mean, but I've learned how to exercise more patience. Patience time. When I go to work, I come back, I stay at home, and just try to keep myself from going outside and wandering, and trying to avoid getting infected. I suppose.
and does it have to be like something? For example, I didn't teach myself a skill, but I started doing something that I have put off for a long time.
Which is?
reading a book.
Like
What? Which is doing what?
I stopped drinking and stopped eating meat. Well, I eat fish and like sleeping on time and like having a diet and eating per hourly, and because I stay home, but I'm not doing shit.
Right.
You're eating hourly.
Yeah,
How
like,
do you give up eating goat meat?
well,
Who
I mean,
does that
right
stuff?
now I have the time, the ability to do it. So I always wanted to like try it to see what works for me and what doesn't. And honestly, I don't see myself, going back to, eating whatever things I find. Honestly, because you feel different once you've done it for a week. It's a whole different side.
Yo, Dan, where are you from? You don't mind me asking.
I'm from Rwanda. Man.
Rwanda.
I know I was thinking Mali. That was way off.
Well, he said it earlier. He was from Rwanda. If you were paying attention.
I came late, in fact. Shut your mouth.
Nah, Bell's connection was acting up. It's because of the Van Nistelrooy jersey in the back. That's why. Rude.
Hey, Josh, what is one thing you taught yourself?
Oh my God. You gotta have to circle back around. I can't think.
Ari, what is one thing you taught yourself?
Or one thing you have started doing.
I told myself I was sleeping like 15 minutes increment.
What?
Come again?
I told myself I had to sleep in 15 minutes increment.
I beg, tell
I
us
want
how.
to skill, yeah. Teach me, please.
So I can come back and touch my laptop.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. That's a good one. Okay.
Oh, wow. Hey!
Well, in that case, if you put it like that,
My eyes have seen my ears.
in that case, if you put it like that, I thought myself I had to stay awake for 24 hours.
Hey, babe.
I mean, 48 hours, no stop. How about that?
That Austin.
Anyways, next question.
No, I have an answer for mine. It's not something I've taught myself, but it's something I've come to understand is the beauty of meditation. I found this app. Yo, that's peaceful shit. I'm telling you. I found this app called Insight Timer, and I use it for going to bed because I was having a lot of trouble going to bed. My mind was still running around. I'm constantly thinking about all types of stuff, whether it be very productive or foolishness. All of them come together at nighttime when I'm in bed. You know, so finding a way to calm my mind, but also doing the same thing in the morning, or just finding time in the day. Like, you have different things, whether you're about to get in a meeting or whatnot. And it has a way of slowing everything down and focusing your brain to whatever it is you're about to do. It's weird that it works, but it really, like, they have one that was 2-minute meeting, and I was supposed to go on a meeting. Matter of fact, I even did it for this one, but it has a way of clearing out all the other stuff that's clouding your brain and getting you in the zone for what you're about to do. You know, and I feel like if we're able to do that for almost anything we have to do, if there was one for everything, I would take it, because you're guaranteeing yourself to perform at your highest. And if it's a product you're giving, to give the best product you can give. And if it's just you being your best self that you can be throughout, whether it be throughout the day, throughout your meeting, throughout your whatever, your hustle, whichever one it is. So I highly recommend it, but I've come to highly appreciate the value of meditation.
Please, whoever invented that app, sponsorship, I beg.
Shout
out.
What I
Very
can't
important.
you know how people sit for 30, 40 minutes, an hour? I've managed to do up to like 5 minutes.
You went from 40 down all the way to 5 minutes.
No, I said people normally do 40, but he can do 5.
You got to start from somewhere, bro.
Me, it was 5 minutes, and I do it only when I feel like I have a lot on my mind.
You talking about meditation?
Like AK and push-ups.
Yeah.
Bro, they have 2-minute meditations, which is like perfect for my attention span.
Bro,
So,
honestly,
2 to 5
I
minutes.
feel like if I was to meditate for 2 minutes, I'll fall asleep.
Okay, next
I've
question.
tried it before, though. I've tried it. I don't know if it was that app, but I had this app on my phone, and I told myself before I go to sleep every day, I'm going to meditate. But what I did was I'll lay on the bed first. So that was not good. So by like 2 minutes, I'm gone, bro.
There's your mistake now.
Yeah, that was my
But
Yes,
some of the meditation
admit it.
is for that. It's for you to go to sleep. So it's good.
true.
That means I don't have a problem with meditating.
Master.
I know, right?
Some of
Expert meditator.
yes. Not expert meditator. No, but some
What's
of
the
it
name
is
of the app again?
Insight Timer.
Timer? Okay.
And it looks like
And you should stop advertising on
Okay,
that one.
got it. I don't see him. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Timer
mind that.
inside.
Don't mind that guy. Don't you see
You
he's
stop
wearing?
advertising. These are marketing. These things you guys are breaking like this. See.
I'm telling you. My guy, next question. What are you currently listening to or watching in terms of podcast?
Ooh,
Stuck in the middle.
I'm trying to kiss him.
BBC Africa Today.
My
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, I listen to NPR a lot.
My guy. Mm-hmm.
I listen to TYT.
Bless Nato.
Eh?
What are you currently listening to or watching?
Or watching. Does it have to be a podcast?
No.
I watch. Well, so I'm not like a big movie person or series or show person or TV person. There's no football on
Nigerian
TV, so
movies.
it makes it really hard for me. But I started watching this show on Netflix called Black Lightning, and that's just like
So how is that?
it's good. I like it. Like I'm not one to sit and watch shows. I'm not one to sit and watch shows, but that one has caught my attention.
That's your attention. Okay.
Got you.
You want me to tell what it's about, so you will know
Yes.
before you even go and watch it.
It's okay. Don't ruin it. It's okay.
All right,
Would
last
you
question.
recommend it?
Well, I can't answer. Yeah, everyone else answer.
Yes, I would recommend it, obviously, because I'm watching it.
Okay, sir.
Last question.
Yeah.
What is something positive that you've recently learned about yourself?
Patience.
Positive.
I've learned that I'm patient.
There's a difference between patience and laziness.
Okay, tell him.
It's
Tell
a big
him.
difference. It's a big difference.
Very big
okay?
difference.
Very big
Very
difference.
big.
So
And
hopefully
very
you
easy
said
to
it, you are aware.
confuse.
Yeah, very easy. So
Yes.
be careful while you are throwing it out.
Very patient there.
Hey,
Okay.
man.
I answered the last question and this one. I've been listening to School of Greatness. I highly suggested Lewis House and Mind Valley podcast. I see you smirking again, but that's okay. And then and then one thing I've learned about myself is that I have potential more than I expect.
Mm-hmm. Jesse Lingard.
I have more potential than I think I do.
No, stop, man.
Sorry.
Leave the Emirate dancer alone.
Yo. Nah, whenever I hear potential, man, that's all I think about. I'm sorry.
But yeah, no.
Okay.
It's not like I don't think I had potential before. It's not like I thought I was an idiot. And
No,
now
you
I
don't have to explain. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to explain. Bell, go ahead. It's
You
okay.
understand?
We understand. Bell, you want a question again?
Bill,
Huh?
The question is, what is something positive you've recently learned about yourself?
So, I think, like, I have a lot of books that it's like there's a big stack of books to read. And I read like one chapter a month. That was the old me. But now it's like, I'm able to, prioritize my reading. So I can actually get through a whole book in like a weekend or a week. So it's like, rather than wasting time doing other things, I can, put more time into my reading. So that's one thing that I'm going to try to improve on, because it's getting better, but I want to make it a bit more a priority. And I actually bought 2 books yesterday.
what book did you read last weekend?
I read this book. It's like a bunch of series. This one is like a
Backward.
yeah. It's I think it's a Cameroon thing actually. So basically, they get
Most of
stories.
the stories are Cameroonian.
Yeah. So basically, what they do is they get fiction, non-fiction, poetry from people around, and then the best ones make it to to a book. So this is like
Bring the
their
book
ninth
closer to
edition.
camera. Bring the book.
This is
closer to
like
camera.
their ninth edition. So they had a
lift it up. There we go. Yeah, there we go.
better. Okay. So they have a 10th edition, and the deadline for submission was actually today, and I actually submitted something. That's why I came late, because I was trying to submit that thing at the last minute. So yeah, it's a very good book. I recommend it.
It's not fun if
Yeah.
it's not last minute.
Yeah.
Right.
Ari, what's your take on
I
this?
beg, can you, if you please repeat the question again?
The question is, what's something positive you've recently learned about yourself?
Okay, it's not. I want to say I just made it a point to invest in myself more. I don't know if that's something positive, but recently I've just, since I've been home a lot, and I've been able to think about a lot of things, and I'm trying to invest in myself more, invest on different things that I do.
That's dope.
Self-investment, very important.
Blessing,
Yes, sir.
what's your own?
Okay.
Why is somebody laughing?
My own is that though. This is no joke. No, my own is that I recently learned that I am actually smarter than what I think.
Can you be a whole life useless boy?
Yeah, you have been, and so this is me learning it, not you telling me. But yes,
So far,
I
you
actually recently learned I'm actually smarter than what I thought I was. So
You're very smart, man.
It be your own friends, indeed.
Right?
Man, for me,
yep.
I don't know, dog. What have I learned recently? I've been teaching myself AWS, man, a lot. So I've been putting myself more in there, trying to learn, ask questions and stuff. So yeah. Right now I'm trying to tell everybody, man, all you people who cry that you are nurses and all what, this is a perfect time. Wait, they're out in the field. My bad. Those who are not out there, who are in the house, man, this is a perfect time to learn technology, man. Like, hop on Udemy, man. Study something, man. Call up that one friend who's in technology. Call up Ari.
Ari, yep.
Call up Ari. You know what I mean? If you try to get into cybersecurity, call him up. He got you. You know what I mean? If you try to be an accountant, call up Bell.
Cyber Wash Night.
Just, man, get to technology. Now is the perfect time. Hey, my guys, listen, man, this was good. Please, I need somebody to volunteer. When we're recording the women's, I need somebody to come so that, how they kept saying la la la, they need to call it. Matter of fact, I nominate Joshua. Joshua, come into that.
Hey.
When they start calling that
No.
one to be Joshua.
Let me tell you something about Joshua. Let me tell you something about this Joshua you are seeing like this. And one of those women will just smile one kind of way. Joshua's mumu brain has woken up that time.
Why?
You can see the characteristics from his face. When they just smile like that, pap, his mumu brain don't wake up.
Okay.
No, with all seriousness though, no, this has been actually like really fun, and I think we should do it more often.
You make it like a weekly segment or monthly segment.
Don't do weekly commitment for some of
We
us.
got life, bro. Even though we
I said all.
I think
Hence the all in the statement. All.
That was piggybacking and
That was a
focusing on
suggestion.
more. Yeah.
I think that the topic.
I'm sure that if a woman said weekly, you come every week.
Everybody must come.
I think the topic of today's discussion was really good, and it shows that we're trying to end the cycle and be better for the next generation. So I like this. This is good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Man, that therapy thing, man.
This right here was therapy as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Facts.
form of
Right.
therapy.
Who is born in Peking first?
Uh-huh.
Bell.
Okay. Please, everybody.
I think it's
Hey guys, stay safe. Stay safe.
necessary. I think it's very necessary and it's good to have open conversations about. And we talked about stuff that I feel in some way are deep, and some of us share things that I feel like were vulnerable. I know we talked about vulnerability, so it's pretty dope when we're ready to open up with stuff like this. It also gives other people to feel like it's okay. I'm pretty sure there's some younger guy sometime that's gonna watch this, and that's gonna be some opening thing for him to be like, you know what, if Uncle Eke could be vulnerable, but if I still could be vulnerable, anything, but so can I. If I could see an African man talk about what has bothered me and what has the challenges they face in life, then so can I. And maybe some of them can relate, some of them can be like, you know what, I'm not crazy for feeling this way. There's other people that feel this way too. But this is dope. Piggybacking again off of what Bell said, yes, maybe monthly we can do this.
Confirm. I see you had to remove your hat to say that, to let your thoughts fly.
I had to let my thoughts.
It's okay.
The sense was downloading.
No, man, let's go around, man. Throw your IG handles. Dan, what's your IG handle?
Boss_the beast.
Ari, what's your IG handle?
IG handle is my first name and my last initial, so ARISTIDEM. That's my Instagram handle.
Bell.
Bel Nino 27. BLNINHO 27. Very easy.
Josh.
Mine is Upprover. That's the only one. That's the first one I'll pop up. And Josh,
His army right there. Mr. Kagame is calling you right now.
APPROVER.
Listen.
Mine is bless_me1.
Weekend man, bless me one.
The number one, bless
G1
_ me, the number one.
Yeah.
Thank God they bless me one. Weekend begin.
He will bless you.
Man, I appreciate you, gentlemen, man, coming on. This is now, in all seriousness, man. These are conversations we have in our group chat. We go back and forth. We will laugh. We would argue. We would debate. By the end of the day, it's all one love. I appreciate you guys again. Being happy on camera is not easy. Most people will shy away from this. So kudos to you. You guys have been listening and watching Stuck on the podcast. Reflex on the drop off because that guy has to go to work in the morning. But anyways, follow us on all social platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, SITM Podcast, everywhere. www.sitmpodcast.com. It's our website. Visit that. You could read our blogs. Nora, Lala, who has making a lot of noise since this thing started. They wrote dope ass blogs on there. You could read. Even Bell himself contributed to that. You could read on that. Visit Bell's website, man. You're gonna see the link at the bottom right here. Visit that. Send us questions that we could talk about. You know what I mean? Send us questions, topics. The ladies are gonna be next. That's gonna be Thursday. You're not ready for this one.
La 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 la.
I will be in the commenting.
I hear them talking too much. The ladies are gonna be next.
La 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 la. Lala has a special place in my heart. It's okay.
Hey.
Laura,
That's so.
That means when you come to Awing, you have to bring like 3 cows. It's okay. But
Only
listen, listen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. You could have been doing something better with your life, like eating or getting dressed to go to the living room. But you sit down in your bedroom or in the room, in your bathtub watching this. So we appreciate you. Thank you, and we are out.
All right, man. Y'all stay safe, though.
You too. Sanitize.
Bye-bye.
Yalla.
Wash your hands.